Hello, hello, everybody. How's everybody tonight? I want to welcome you all. Welcome you all to Supporting Black Authors Book Club. I am your host, Minister Deborah Davis, coming to you live from Facebook as I do every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. with special authors. Tonight we have a special guest, a special author. He's a new author. I like to give new authors a chance to come out and tell their stories. A lot of times they don't get any platforms, so I do like to give them the opportunity. This is a fresh author. He's a brand new author. Let me tell you a little about him. His name is Robert Reddick the Third, and the name of his book is Addiction. Now, let me just give you a little bit of his bio. He is born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He served 6 years in the U.S. Navy, and we want to thank you for your service. He served from 2001 to 2007. He's the father of two small children. He has one boy and one girl. He has an associate's degree in human resources and a bachelor's degree in general management. He began writing poetry in late 2016, and he began writing his first novel, which we're going to talk about tonight, Addiction, in 2017, and published it this year. Everybody, please help me welcome Robert to the show. Give him some hearts, give him some love. Hi, Robert. Welcome to Supporting
Hi,
Authors Book Club. How are you? How are you
doing
tonight?
well. Yourself?
Good, good. I have to say, God is good. Just relax. We're
Yes,
gonna have a
indeed.
good time. We're gonna ask you a few questions. I'm very, very excited to have you here as a
Thank
new
you for having me.
author. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm gonna ask you some questions. I want to give the listening audience an opportunity to put some questions in the comments and give some feedback, give some love, give some likes, give some hearts to this new author. you know, um, I just want to say, being yesterday, August the 31st,
Right.
was International Overdose Awareness Day. I did not know
Yeah.
that. I did not know that, but I do know now that yesterday was International Overdose Day. So this is very, very fitting to have you to come on to share your book, Addiction. So
Yes,
I really
indeed.
want to thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So my first question, as we always ask, the first question is, what inspired you to write the book Addiction?
I think originally it came from just trying to show that any person can be touched by addiction. In the book, the family that you journey with is an upper middle class family in New York City. The mother and the father both have bachelor's degrees from NYU, and they all graduated with honors. And yet, and still, they're afflicted by these addictions that they have, that their children have. And it was to show really that any person from no matter what walk of life, they're not escapable of addiction if that fits. But it can happen to anybody. It doesn't, and there's different types of addictions as well. And I think I wanted to really showcase that not everybody thinks only drug addictions are true addictions, when in fact there's a huge plethora of addictions, not just drug and alcohol
Yes.
related.
Yes. And these characters each have a different type of addiction.
Right.
Can you name those addictions?
Well, there's four characters. The mother, uh, she ends up being addicted to pain pills. Through some things that happen to her, she tries to deal with them by taking pain pills.
Mm-hmm.
And the father, because of her pain that she was going through, he tried to handle it by gambling. So his addiction is gambling. And they have
Mm-hmm.
identical twin daughters. One is addicted to being successful. She gets skipped in school twice. She graduates from high school early, from college early. She goes on to do these amazing things with her career, and she's just she doesn't want to do anything else. She only wants to work, read, and study. And then the other girl, she's addicted to the things, the typical things that people attribute to addiction: drugs, alcohol, sex and things like that.
I think it's interesting that you said that the father, he was addicted to gambling due to his wife's addiction.
Right.
Because one addiction can lead to another addiction,
Right.
such as theft. You
Yeah.
know, you can start stealing for your addiction. That
Very
too
true.
can become an addiction. Was there someone in your life, or was you yourself um, had a habit, or was there someone that prompted you to really start writing the book and to title it Addiction?
Um, well, for me, I have had some addictions to like video games and things like that. I used to smoke. So I've had some addictions myself. The book is somewhat related to me. I'm biracial. My dad is black and my mother is white. So the two of the main characters, the father and the mother, the husband and wife, they're the father's black and the mother's white. And from that, my dad did used to love to gamble. He would go to the dog track. He would sometimes pick me up when I after I went to the Navy. I was stationed in Great Lakes. So it was only like a 45-minute drive from home, and he would pick me up, and we would stop at the casino. So, I mean, he wasn't addicted to gambling, but he loved to gamble, and so some of that was put into his character. But for the most of it, the characters are pretty much just from my imagination. And I think the title "Addiction" came from just I thought it was a perfect fit. It didn't. I don't think it needs to be too long or too many different things put in there. I think addiction was just the right fit for it.
Okay, well, I don't want you to feel alone, you know, when you say that you were addicted to a few things, because we've
Right.
all had some addictions in our life. I
Definitely.
was an addict. I'm the type, I don't try to pretend to be something that I'm not, or
Right.
I'll never forget where I came from and
Right.
what happened in my life. So I don't want you to
Um,
ever feel that you're being put on the spot because the name of your
no.
book is addictive, because I was
No.
an addict and I was addicted to some things. And I'm sure some of the listening audience have had some issues as
Right.
well.
And maybe not even directly. Maybe it doesn't even have to be an addiction that you had. It could be addiction that a friend or a family member had. I think this book is it tackles a lot of those issues with dealing with family members who have struggles.
Right, right, exactly. We have Darlene Harvey. She says, "Do you think food is a big addiction ignored by many?" Oh, that's
Yeah, of course. I
food.
think that
I'm addicted. I'm addicted to vanilla ice cream.
you can be addicted to anything. I think there are people who are addicted to working out. There are people who
Yeah,
are addicted to eating junk food. An addiction doesn't have to be, put as just one thing. Addiction could be anything that takes you off your normally scheduled program. If it's something that alters your path in life, that could be an addiction.
that's right.
I
And a
mean,
lot of times people don't even realize that
right,
they're addicted to some things, you
right.
know. We don't realize it. I love my Teddy Grahams, you know. It's funny because last night I was watching TV and I said, and I was eating them, and I turned to my mother. I said, "I'm addicted to these things." That word came out, you know. I'm addicted to
Yeah,
these things. So that definition of addiction is the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance or activity. But I
right,
want to say there is a difference in addiction and addictive.
right,
You know, because something can cause a strong and harmful need for you to want to have something.
right,
That's something being addictive opposed to
right,
having the addiction. If I
right.
make any sense to you
No, it
when I
does. I mean, they say, certain products have addictive traits in them or addictive chemicals in them. Those things can lead to an addiction. But, just because something is addictive doesn't mean every person will be addicted to it
That's
either.
right. That is true. That is true. That is true. So if you just joined us, we're interviewing Robert Reddick the third with his new book, Addiction. I'm excited for you. I'm
Thank
excited
you.
that you are a first time author. I'm excited to give you the opportunity to come on the platform to share your book as a first time author. I'm excited because a lot of times people don't give first time authors a platform to
Right.
come on and share, especially new authors. You're young, you have two young children. So I'm excited for you and I'm excited for your success.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
you're welcome. Do you feel as though one of the addictions in the book, because let's just let the audience know the book is fiction.
Correct.
So that's why we're saying the characters, and although it is fiction, it is true.
Yeah.
Addiction does happen, but we're
Yeah.
using fictional characters in the
Yeah.
book. So do you feel as though one of the addictions is worse than the other addiction? Do you think one is worse than the other? And if so, why?
Um, I think for the four characters, the I wouldn't say one is worse. Just because they all affect each person differently. I don't want to give away too many details in the book, but
No,
you
you shouldn't. Make us buy it. Make us buy it. I'm gonna buy the book. That's
right,
one of the things I do. I support my authors. I buy the book. Usually people watch and buy the book. I do have a rule now in the club that if you are in the Supporting Black Authors Book Club, if you want to come on and be interviewed, you too have to support the
right,
other authors. It's only fair.
right.
Yes, Kathleen. She says that food addiction come to the forefront now during the COVID pandemic, and she congratulates you on your book. And that is true, Kathleen, that
Yeah.
a lot of people have gained weight, me being one of them.
I don't think the COVID weight though is necessarily an addiction. I think it's more so the boredom.
Oh,
People
yeah,
get
yeah,
bored. I know
yeah, yeah.
sometimes I do that. I get bored and I just like for no reason I just want to eat something, and
And
it
we don't
doesn't
be
necessarily have to be
hungry.
something I'm addicted to. It's just more so there's nothing else to do.
Right, and we don't even be hungry. We just want some
Right.
food, right? You know, and you have that addiction. It's like it's calling you, it's talking to you. Like my ice cream,
Right.
my vanilla ice cream will say, "Now you know you want a cup of me. You know you want some of that ice cream. You know,"
right.
and I do.
People.
Yeah. So if you just joined us, I am interviewing Robert Reddick III on his new book, Addiction. I thank God for our new authors. We want to give new authors a platform. And so, I'm excited for you. And I'm sure someone says, I will buy the book. You see? So that's
Thank you.
good. Thank you, Darlene
Thank
Harvey.
you.
She says that she's going to buy the book. I'm going to buy the book.
Thank you.
I have books all over. I
Yeah.
have to start reading. I have to get to reading because I do support my authors. I do.
Yeah, I got a few books I've bought and I haven't read yet.
Well, we're going to talk about your book tonight, Addictive. That's what we're here for tonight. We're
Yes.
here for Addictive, and we want to welcome all those that are watching tonight. So, what do you think were some of the challenges that the characters met in the story? What challenges did they meet?
I think the first challenge that's brought to the forefront is it doesn't have anything to do with addiction, but it's biracial relationships. Like I said, the father is black, the mother white, the mother is white. So they had to deal with approval from her family. She sought after approval. She grew up in a traditional home where, mother, father, husband, wife, and she wanted and she yearned for that. And so initially when her and her husband got together, the wife is Mary, the father is Trevor. So when Mary and Trevor got together, she didn't get the approval from her father that she desired. He did not approve of her dating a black man, and so that
Okay.
was their first challenge. It was
That is a challenge in today's society,
right,
especially, with all the systematic racial tension and things that are
right,
going on now. So you brought out some good points in the book. It's really, really good now to have that type of story out for
yeah,
people to purchase the book, especially biracial relationships versus addiction. And
yeah,
also, we might as well mention again, that yesterday was International Overdose Day. I did not know that. So
Right.
this is good that we're coming on and we're talking about addiction. And people also, too, now in the pandemic are starting to revert back to
Right.
their old habits. They're reverting back to drinking. They're
Right.
stuck in the house. They're reverting back to drugs, you know, because of boredom.
Right.
So if you just tuned in, you know, we are, and I am interviewing Robert Reddick III. Also, there is a substance abuse mental health service agency hotline that you can call, and this is nationwide, this hotline. So if you or someone you know has an addiction and they need help, you can have them call 1-800-662-4357. I'll let that run for a while until you write that number down. That's nationwide hotline for someone that you know that has an addiction. So we want to take some questions from our listeners. We have a few more minutes. If you have a question, um, can is everybody, if you can hear me, give some likes, give some thumbs up, and give some hearts if you can hear us, because someone's saying they can't hear and it has no sound. So if you can hear me, give me some thumbs up, give me some likes. I wonder why they're saying there's no sound. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me some likes. Darlene Harvey, if you can hear me, give us some likes. Hit the likes, hit the hearts if you can hear me. I don't know. It seems like they can't hear us on the Facebook Live. Someone says I'm on, but I have no sound. Oh yeah, thank you, whoever gave the hearts. Thank you. So some people can hear. Okay. So yeah, they can hear. They can hear. Somebody must just be having trouble with their sound and saying that they're on, but they can't hear. Oh, welcome, Evangelist Loretta Scales. Thank you, doll. She says she can hear us. We're talking about addiction. You know, it's a big subject, addiction. That's a
Right.
very big subject, you
Right.
know. And like I was telling Mr. Reddick, he's not by himself. He's addicted to video games. Come on, you know. That's that's a big addiction though, I've heard, you
Well,
know.
some people these days they make a lot of money off of them, so it's not really a bad thing.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
I don't make any money off of it, but I know people do.
Yes, yes, yes. So, what would you say was the most positive, important part of your book that could help someone with an addiction today? That's in your book.
I think for me, the part that I would say would be something that someone could take from it
Mhm.
is to, if you or someone you know is dealing with an addiction, no matter what it is, try to understand them instead of judging them. Try to
Love
have
that.
empathy and sympathy for them instead of just assuming that they're a bad person. Because sometimes when people get taken by things like their addictions, it can be tough for them alone to overcome it. And for any person trying to do it alone, it's virtually impossible.
Wow,
And
that's
even
so
with
good.
help, right, even with help, it's going to be tough. But if you love them, if you care about them, be patient and help them out in the way you personally can.
That's so good. We have people that are watching that are counselors, evangelists, Loretta Scales. If you have some feedback or comments, put it in the comment that you think could help someone that's watching. I did not realize that yesterday was International Overdose Awareness Day. Um,
Right.
I seen Sister Diane out there in Asbury Park yesterday, and she made me aware of that. You know, it's good that they have an International Overdose Awareness Day. They didn't have those days when I was out there. They
Right.
didn't have those type of awareness that people could be
Right.
aware of. Evangelist Gail, she says yes because it's not the person, it's the addiction. And so
Right.
therefore that is true. Sometimes we look at it and we think it's the individual, but it's a spirit. It's a spirit inside
Right.
that person. It's a
Right.
stronghold, it's a spirit.
And they
And
can't control
and
themselves.
they can't control themselves. And you're right, Robert, they can't do it alone, you
Right.
know. And I like what you said. Don't judge,
Right.
help, you know?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You assume somebody's a bad person, try to help out, and especially if you know them and you know them well, you know the person they were before their addiction. I mean, you want what's best for them, and if you turn your head away from them and don't assist them, that's not helping them achieve their greater good.
And then so too, you do have people that are really, that thing is so strong on them, they
Right.
don't want the help. You have
Yeah.
some people that just are not looking for help. They
Right.
love the addiction so much
Right.
that they don't want to get out. So you
Right.
can't help somebody that does not want to help themselves. If you
Well,
don't want to help
you can
yourself,
help them in a different way. Sometimes taking a step back and is helping too. It depends on the situation and on the person. I think that person who doesn't want to get away from the addiction, that's the person that they lost control a long time ago.
that's
And
so
so
that's so true
and
because we
so
have Mr. Bolden says denial is what keeps us
right.
out there. Denial is what reverses our reality. It
Right.
revises our reality, that denial. And
Right.
I understand exactly. You don't want to think that you have an addiction.
Right.
You don't want to believe that you have. And that's when you really love that thing. You know,
Yeah.
you love it. You don't want to get rid of it because you like it so much.
Right.
You want to keep it. So
Right.
you don't want nobody beating you upside the head
Right.
saying, now you got to stop. You know this is wrong. You don't need to be smoking. You don't need to be
Right.
drinking. You don't need to be, you're not listening because you don't want to give it up. And
Right.
so, and I know you've heard that when you were playing your video game.
No, nobody knew. Sometimes people who are addicted to stuff, they don't necessarily tell everybody that. I mean, I think the worst part for me, when I was in the Navy, I would have days where I would play the game all night, and I'll look up and I'm like, oh, I got to get ready to go to work.
Oh my God, nobody
Yeah,
knew. You got
nobody knew.
the secret ones too, the secret ones,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So we run in the 800 number on the bottom of the screen. If you know somebody with an addiction or you yourself have an addiction, that is the national hotline. That's a national. You can call that number and it is confidential. It's a confidential hotline and it is a substance abuse mental health service agency and they will take your call in confidence. So we want you to get the book Addiction. We want to help our young man out there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We want
Yeah.
to help you. We want to purchase your book. He's a new author and you can get his book off. Tell
It's
him where
on
to get your
Amazon.
book. Tell him where to get your book.
It's on Amazon. This is the cover. This is what it looks like. It's available on Amazon. You can go on Amazon and just search Addiction by Robert Reddick III. I also have a website, www.robertreddickauthor.com. If you go to my website has a link for you to be able to go purchase the book. There's also a few chapters on my website that you'll actually be able to read for free. So you can get an idea of what's in the book and to see whether or not it's something that interests you. And uh, hopefully it'll lead you to, it'll be good and you'll like it and you'll want to get it. But yeah, so robertreddickauthor.com.
Support. I love that word, support. I'm a big supporter. I buy the books. And if you go to his website, you can Cash App him. That's his Cash App. Or if you just want to sow a seed into him, sow a seed into his life. Remember, he said he had two young children, two small children. So we want to support our new author, Robert Reddick III. We're going to support you. We're
Thank you.
going to
Thank
do
you. I
that.
appreciate you
So,
having me.
yes, write down his Cash App. Somebody send him something. Purchase the book. Go to his website. What's that website again?
robertreddickauthor.com. www.robertreddickauthor.com.
So you heard it. Go buy the book. And if you're not going to buy the book, just sow a seed into his Cash App. I'm writing that down myself. I want y'all to send this young man. If you don't want to buy the book, just send him something. Send him something, and let's sow into his life. How about that?
Yeah. And my website also has all the socials for it. It has a list where you can go to get to my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and it also has a link to go to my Amazon author profile. Um, and there's a ton of stuff on the website. Uh, an about me page that talks about me, about where I'm from, and some of the things that I've done. And of course, there's also the link to the book.
The link to the book and the Cash App. I left the Cash App up because I want people to sow into this young man's life. I feel compelled to say that tonight. So we're going to sow into you. I want to thank you for coming to Supporting Black Authors Book Club. I want to thank you for the information that you share. And I also want to tell you, as this being your first interview, you did an awesome job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Give him some hearts, give him some likes. Let him know he did an awesome job tonight. I
Thank
want
you.
to do whatever I can to help you promote your book.
Thank
I
you.
want to do whatever I can to help you get the message out that's
Yes.
in your book, because
Right.
it is an important message.
Yeah.
Addiction is a very important message to get
Right.
out. So we're going to get your book. And I want to thank you so much for coming.
Thank
And
you for
I'm going
having
to
me.
tell you good night. Thank you. We love you so much.
I
And
love you
I'm
too.
definitely going to be, I'm going to definitely be sowing into your life. She says, how can you help and not become an enabler? Okay. So they're giving some love, giving some hearts, and I'm going to say goodnight to you. Thank you so much for coming. And
Thank
I will be
you.
in touch. And you keep your eye on your Cash App tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
So I want to thank Mr. Robert Reddick III for coming on tonight. Please go out and get his book, Addiction, y'all. And if you don't get the book, sow into the young man's life. Just sow into his life. Listen, I want you to come back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. We will be interviewing our very own Pastor Queenie Green. The title of her book is Diary of a Masquerade. So you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss that. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please, please, please be blessed.